Greetings, I am Tom Earl. As you know, this is my year of courage. I know you could be anywhere, so the fact that you are here sharing your greatest gifts, your time and your energy means the world to me. I hope you know that in this space you are loved just as you are. Welcome to part 2 of these Courage Talks interviews. If you're tuning into this one, I recommend you jump back to last week's episode because we're going to pick up where we left off with these interviews I did throughout the year. As I mentioned, throughout this whole year, my whole purpose in the year of courage is to explore not only for myself, but for you, what is courage? Not just running into burning buildings and saving babies, which is awesome, but oftentimes we think of courage as something else besides what we're doing every single day of our lives. And so I want to interview everyday people to show you and to show them and myself that we are all being courageous in our own unique way, and to really begin to identify what does courage look like in the world and in our life by having this dialogue around it. And so as you know, throughout the year, not only did I interview my weekly guests, but I sometimes would pull friends aside. Sometimes we'd have dinner parties. You might even be able to hear during the interviews people laughing in the background. And during a dinner party, I'd say, come into my studio. And then I'd ask them this set of questions. And as you might have seen last week, and as you'll see this week, I had a set of questions. But at the same time, I'd sometimes go on a pathway with the person or a few people and see what their response might be. So some people did get asked questions that others didn't, but you'll find that it all aligns because I ask everybody the same set of questions mostly. And you'll hear that in the concluding questions this week. I once again want to thank the amazing people who were a part of this project and all of the people who've been listening and sharing what courage means to you, either by posting it online, tagging me, sending it to me on Snapchat or email, even text. I appreciate that so much. And so here's what we're going to do. I'm going to have the people introduce themselves one more time. So you'll hear that's going to be the same intro as part 1, but just to reorient you to who is here. And then I'll have them answer the rest of the questions. And then we will conclude this part of Year of Courage. Without further ado, I'll step away.
Hello, my name is Sadia, and my name means lucky or fortunate.
Hello, my name is Rasha, and what does my name mean to me? It's actually shorter for Rashmi, which means the ray of light.
Well, my name's Adam, and my mum and dad chose both my name, Adam, and my brother's name, Corin, from a Shakespeare play, As You Like It, I believe. And Adam was the old manservant.
Hello, my name is Naila Mueed, and my name actually means one who succeeds and one who restores.
I'm Tress Glenn, and my name means that I'm very unique. And I normally point to my hair when I tell somebody my name because they're like, what, Tess? I only know like Tress, like tresses.
Hi, my name's Anna Sambrooks. Well, my name isn't my real name. It's my stage name. It always brings back memories of my first job because that's when I had to choose what name I was going to have. So I took my mum's maiden name.
Hello, my name is Raisa Kiwala, and what my name means to me is abundance.
Hi, my name is Ione. The meaning of the name, according to what it is a violet-coloured stone or a purple gem. I like that it's original and unique.
How does somebody become more courageous?
Maybe other people that also have courage, different sources of inspiration, mentors. For me, patience also, allowing myself time to develop and allowing myself to process my thoughts and not feeling like I have to have the answer right away.
I think someone becomes more courageous by recognizing their own inner strength. When you find your voice, you have to go deep within yourself. You have to search your soul. I know that may be deep thinking, but finding yourself is really knowing who you are, what your essence is, what your purpose is, you know, what you believe in and what's the core of you. Courage is about having the guts to do something. Courage is standing strong. Courage is not falling, or if you do fall, rising up again, because in this journey that we call life or our pathway or whatever we're going through, we're going to fall a lot of times. It's not an easy pathway, but when you can fall and stand up and rise again, I think that's the beauty of it. And in that process is when you do find yourself, because you're constantly learning lessons, and those lessons are going to help you kind of break down what works and what doesn't. And again, that's another process which is just going to kind of show your essence to you.
I think it's just about having the strength of character to put yourself in harm's way when necessarily the easier option would be potentially safer. But knowing that the right thing to do may put you in harm's way, then that, people can become more courageous that way. And I think, people need to become more courageous that way with the way things are going at the moment, and with the administration working the way it is, and people being deported, and dreamers potentially losing their status and stuff like that. And just, the kind of quite troubling rise of white supremacy again, and the far right and stuff like that is, I think people need to be very vigilant to that and find that strength in themselves to be courageous, to speak up, to come together as groups, and find strength in numbers so we can be. It's much easier to be courageous together. So don't try and be. Don't they say that don't be an island. Come together and be strong together, because it's much easier to be courageous as a group of people and much harder to ignore as a group of people.
It's hard for me to answer the question like that, because it depends on the person. I think somebody would have to take, assessment of their life, and to see what they're moving with currently, what beliefs they are holding on to currently, what limiting beliefs, who do they think they are, who do they say they are, what is running their life, and that's all going to be different. So I guess the main beginning point, if someone is currently not moving with courage, would be to have an assessment of their life and to see, well, what's running me right now, and what would it mean to move with courage in whatever I'm doing in my life, so the particular is going to look different, depending on what does your life look like right now, but definitely I'm going to say assess your life, look at who you say you are, who you say you're not, and what do you surround your life with?
You just have to be yourself. That's it. I don't think there's any other magic. I don't think there's anything that you have to go out and learn to do or practice or figure out. It's just being who you are. And that's all the courage you need, because all the rest is just going to fall into place. So if it is just going into an interview, a job interview, or if it's completing a project, and you have all this pressure on yourself, either at work or school, wherever it is, it's just being able to show up and being who you are and using the talents that you have, the skills that you have to complete something, or just to show up.
I think in terms of that, I think it's about finding your voice, expressing yourself, really knowing what you stand for and not being afraid to stand up for it. And then I think it's about not caring so much, in a way. Caring a lot and not caring so much at the same time. It's, don't second guess yourself, don't hear someone else's voice in your head. If you want to dye your hair blue, go dye your hair blue. Just do it kind of thing. That's the self-expression I think I've been thinking of recently. It's a growth. I think you have to want it more than you're scared of it for a start. And I think trust. I think just trust in yourself. Finding that trust that you're not going to steer yourself wrong. Listening to your gut, listening to your higher self, listening to what's really true to you. Drowning out the noise, drowning out the stories, like really getting focused on who you are and what really matters to you. And then just trying to be more of that, do more of that, seek out more of that, seek out people that represent that, fill your life with that, I think.
I think that's a great question. That for me, how I see that is we all have an internal GPS. I call it God Protection Service. Yeah. And if we are quiet enough, we can hear what is right for us, the answers to our own life. And that means having a quiet mind. That means not having all that mental clutter up in your mind with thoughts running, amok all over the place, that is creating your reality moment by moment based on your thoughts. And when you can quiet that down, become more conscious of where your thoughts are going, and trust, when you have that level of silence, there's so much you can hear that's right for you, like knowing what the right thing is to do and then trusting it rather than, the thoughts or the fears, the doubts that creep up in your mind. And then they just create this whole story that's not real, but it feels real to you, but it's all made up in your mind. So recognizing and becoming more conscious of being able to trust your intuition, your guidance from your creator, that you will be guided to what is right for you. And the more you trust yourself, the more you can feel comfortable. Like, I'm going to go with my intuition rather than maybe what someone is telling me, because they don't have the answers for my life, because everyone is given what they need and everyone's answers are going to be different, because everyone's on a different journey. So I think just being able to trust yourself, being more connected to God, to your creator, to nature, that's what I would say, because, I don't think there's any wrong answer really to life. I think it's just your journey, and it's always a growth and learning process.
I would say finding the reasons for why they are doing it and having a good sort of solid understanding of why you're taking the actions that you're doing. Building confidence, having belief in yourself, seeing that it's possible, believing that it's possible, like taking stories or encouragement from other people, just jumping in head first, I think.
What does everyday courage look like in your life?
Everyday courage means getting out of bed. No, I'm just kidding. Everyday courage for me, I think it's like, for me, it's going beyond my comfort zone, because sometimes it's easy for me just to get into that same cycle, doing the same things. And it's really getting out there and, putting something new on paper or idea wise, or doing something I normally wouldn't do. That's what courage for me is every day. Or just, I'd say even believing in myself, because living in this world, and I work in a very competitive industry in Hollywood. It's not the easiest industry. So waking up and having the courage to know that I'm doing the right stuff, I'm on the right path, I'm succeeding, and there's a lot of avenues and opportunities out there. That to me is courage.
I think for me, being in a different country, away from family, away from friends, pursuing a career that's, not always easiest of careers, I think that's like a daily courage. Like, that takes a dedication and a courage to believe in yourself, even though it doesn't necessarily look like the odds are stacked in your favor. I think that's like a small little act of courage every day.
That's a great question. I'll give you a great example. Something that's really big for me. Everyday courage in my life looks like, let's say, for example, the example I want to give you is my relationship with my boys. My boys were living with me up until a year ago. Their father and I divorced about 4 years ago. And they went back and forth between their father and I, half the time at my home and half the time at their dad's home. And just recently, about 9 months ago, we made the decision that it was best for them to live with their dad full time and just visit me twice a month. And that was something I had to really let go of, believing that I knew what was right for them, when I really don't, because they're on their own journey. And I had to really submit and let go to God's will, and trusting that when I made the right choice to let them go, I felt a lot of peace in my heart with it, because there wasn't any inner turmoil within me. Whereas the reason why I couldn't let go before I made that decision was I was having all of these scary thoughts in my mind of what if, if I allow them to go and live with their dad full time, what will it mean for our relationship? The meaning that I give to that is dependent on how I show up, because I can be afraid of the thoughts that I'm having about my situation, and that can lead me down a path of despair and hopelessness. Or I can be optimistic about it and then allow myself to show up the best way, even though it's not what I anticipated or what I expected. And I think that just those little moments and those step-by-step, day in, day out of showing up as your best self and doing your best, even if it's not what you expected or you anticipated, because none of us can predict the future.
Everyday courage. Well, considering, I guess I have to think in terms of the business I'm in, the business I want to be in, which is entertainment as an actor. It's just knowing my own limits and getting beyond those limitations, being prepared, seeking out opportunities. It takes a lot of courage to do what I do, and a lot of it's just a lot of it is rejection. People always talk about rejection in the acting field, but a lot of it's just sussing out your abilities and then being able to expand on your abilities and being working on your talent. And sometimes you're doing all these things where you're just trying to maintain a regular, normal, everyday life and just surviving as well. And it takes courage in order to just continue to pursue a career like I'm pursuing, because I have a college degree and I can easily get my resume, turn it in, and get a regular job like everybody else. Not like everybody else, but a job 9 to 5. When I say everybody else, it's more like a 9 to 5, very stable job, and I have a stable income, and I can put my money towards retirement, all that stuff. But it takes more courage to actually go for the career that I want to pursue. And it's basically, a lot of people are not living their dreams in a sense, or doing the things that they love or want to do. So it takes, a lot of courage to actually take those risks, to get out there and do the things that you've always wanted to do. Like when we were kids, people are like, what do you want to be when you grow up? It takes a lot to actually sometimes do those things and deviate from the regular rat race of the monotony and all the other jobs and things like that. But it takes a lot of courage for me to be able to stick to it and figure out what the next steps are in the career that I'm pursuing. It's not very easy career to pursue, being a professional actor that you're paid to do this. And so I just feel like it just takes a lot of courage just to get out there and continue it, because it's easy to quit. It's easy to quit a lot of things, especially as an actor. So I feel like that takes a lot of courage and a lot of other things to be able to continue this dream.
What would you say are the ingredients of the everyday courage that you live?
The ingredients of that, listening to your heart, and what I stated already, knowing who you are, who do you say you are? Who do you say you're not? And I think that that is the most important thing, is like when you wake up in the morning, who is that that's waking up? Who's leading your life? And do you even know you have a heart to listen to, not just to feel? People think the brain is what thinks, and it's not. Our heart is really what runs our show. And a lot of times when the heart is shut down, that's when we get a lot of shut down life and depression and whatnot. And I don't think it's a recipe. I know in our society we have recipes for everything. Yeah. I don't think it's like there's when you're doing this, you're living from your heart. Who's to tell you? I can't tell someone else how to live from their heart. I can tell them, listen to your heart. Learn how your heart speaks. Learn when it's your heart versus your ego. You know what I mean? And go with the heart. I think a sign of knowing the difference between the heart and the ego is it just going to hook you up, or is it going to make everybody in the space uplifted? I think that is the language of the heart, is it doesn't just benefit you. There's something bigger in mind. And so the how will be told as you go, but it definitely, you have to take time to learn the difference between the language of the ego and the world and the language of the heart.
What is the reward of courage?
You will have your own story to tell, your own story to share, which I think is very important for me personally. And that's how one of the things that I look to get out of life is, okay, am I going to have something to talk about? Am I going to have something to share with people? Am I going to have experiences and wisdom, which comes from putting yourself in new, different, challenging, uncomfortable situations and then learning from them.
The reward of courage is finding inner strength, realizing your own power. That's what the main reward is. Really recognizing who you are, who your true essence is, and realizing that you can do anything that you want as long as you believe in yourself and you know your strength.
You get to live the life you want. You get to choose the life you want and live the life you want, if you have the courage to do so. And you're happy. You're happy when you are fulfilled. And I feel like with courage, you just have a happier existence on this earth.
Oh, wow. That's a great question. Reward of courage is so many opportunities that your mind could have never imagined. And I see that for myself too. I see that for myself, being able to making decisions and taking action in what I feel is the right thing to do, even though I don't know how it's going to necessarily turn out, has opened many, many doors and opportunities for me to actually reach my potential and be able to fulfill my purpose here.
The biggest thing is learning the difference between the little self, the ego self, and your higher self and your heart, and really determining, is that the life you want to have? Because a lot of people are like, just until I'm comfortable then, so for me, it's really about, what does my heart want to express, want to give, want to bring, want to contribute? What is it that is naturally bubbling up, that is uniquely mine, that is stamped with my DNA, my soul expression, and to me, that's how I live from my heart, and that expression can be many different things on any given day. It may look different. One day it may be a poetic expression. One day it may be a mother expression with time with my children. Usually that's going to be a little bit in every day. One day might be a thing of t-shirts that came up, a book, a children's book, a new webinar, anything, so it's really listening to, this is what's here today, to be given. And it's not about hooking me up.
What would you like to invite people to reflect upon or consider around courage?
I would invite people to consider, why is courage important? And I think it's something that we don't actively think about. Maybe like what first comes to my mind is The Lion King and Simba, and he's like, I'm not afraid. You know, and then he ends up learning, okay, that doesn't mean you have to go looking for trouble, and how does he interpret courage and bravery. But I do think that as a quality, it's super important. And I think, we should just be thinking to ourselves, why is it important, and how can I make sure that I'm practicing courage?
I would love for people to reflect on their own journey and kind of look at some of the moments where maybe, you know, on the outside, it didn't seem like a huge success, or maybe it wasn't a winning moment, but to really go back and look at the courage. And it could be a simple thing like competing in a beauty pageant. You didn't win the title, but you know what? You had the courage to go and compete with other people. You had the courage to get up on that stage and present something that many other people are very scared to do and have a fear of. So even things like that, I think I invite people to go in and recognize even the smallest wins and see the courage that it took to get there.
I think, like I said, consider the people that you surround yourself with. Consider how you can be more courageous by simple things like surrounding yourself with like-minded people, or just being able to, keeping an eye out, be vigilant, when you see something going wrong, don't be afraid to speak up. Take that plunge.
I've learned a long time ago, I can't want for someone what they don't want for themselves. And so for anyone who is drawn to the courage conversation, to anyone who is wanting a bigger life where that's what's on their heart and soul, is to really begin listening to the voice that is speaking for a higher purpose than hooking their little self up. To begin listening to that voice that says, this is going to leave the space bigger and better than when I entered it, and I think that'll go a long way.
I guess I would like people to basically take a look inwards, and what is it that they can do more with their life, and what could courage help them in terms of just in their pursuits. It's always good to reflect on where you've been and where you want to go, and what it's going to take to get to continue to move up. And even if it's just having the best retirement ever, and maybe retiring early, what could courage help? What can they do? And how can they use courage to just achieve just a little bit more for their lives?
I think a lot of what has been going on lately in society and the media, in terms of people fighting for equality, fighting for, all sorts of different people's rights. And I think sometimes it can feel like you can't have an impact, you can't make a difference. But I think I would encourage people to speak their truth, stand up for what's right, stand up for other people, even if it feels like something insignificant, even if it's not just sitting back if you're, in a conversation and someone says something that you fundamentally believe is wrong. I think it's having that courage to just actually speak your truth aloud. Maybe you'll change someone's mind, maybe you'll make someone think of something, but I think it's remembering the fact that all those little tiny elements build up and they become a tidal wave. And I think that's what we're experiencing, just people coming together and realizing that there's a strength in all those small acts, and they build up. So I think that's what I would encourage people to do, be true and keep speaking out and keep making a difference.
Whether you feel you're courageous or not, you have it within you. You really have it within you, even if you can't see it right now. And, that voice, that inner voice that you have within yourself, to trust that, because that will guide you into what your next steps are, where you need to go, which direction you need to go to. A lot of times that intuition, we suppress it because we feel like our mind is so much more logical and it will say the right thing. So what I would say is really know that you have it within you, it's accessible to you, and to be able to trust yourself and take the action that you know is right, that you can feel it and sense that is right for you.
I guess what it means to them. What it means to them. If they've done things that they think are courageous, even though for me, I don't see it as that as such. I don't focus on it or think of it in that way. It's just doing what needs to be done. But yeah, I think of observing, being aware of what you're doing, that is courageous.
Courage is
integrity.
Courage is finding your own inner strength. It's finding your core essence, and it's finding your inner voice.
A gift, not it's something to be worked at as well. It's not, some people are blessed with having, an insane amount of courage and that ability to kind of walk through fire. But it's something, but don't think that it's exclusive to them. It's something that can be worked at. It can be, you can find it in yourself, and you can find it within yourself by surrounding yourself with like-minded people. Attach yourself to a group of people that, like you said, it's easier to be stronger and courageous in numbers.
Courage is hard.
Courage is, I know this might seem a little hokey. Courage is living your best life. It's very Oprah.
Oprah's hokey?
Well, I mean, it's like almost not, she's not hokey, but we've heard it so much that it almost seems like it could be a cliche, but it really is kind of, courage is basically living your best life.
Courage it's just essential. It's essential right now. It's necessary. It's needed. It's just to move this world forward in the right way. Just to make sure we can't make any change if we stay silent. So I think courage is it's essential.
Courage is liberating.
Strength.
And if people would like to reach out to you and connect and share their appreciation, where can they do so?
If someone would like to reach out to me, show appreciation, be my friend, they can find me on Facebook with my name, Sadia Sassine. Pretty easy to find. There shouldn't be more than one of me.
Can you spell it though?
Absolutely. Sadiya, first name. Last name, Sassine.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Sadia.
Thanks, Tom.
People can find me on Instagram at Rasha Goel, RASHAGOEL, or they can connect with me on Twitter, same handle, and on Facebook, same thing. So Rasha Goel everywhere.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing your gifts with us.
Thank you so much for having me.
Instagram. That's probably, I think it's Adam Blake Actor.
Adam Blake Actor. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you, Adam.
No worries.
Wonderful.
I can be reached at poeticnubia@gmail.com and on Instagram and Facebook and YouTube at Poetic Nubia.
Could you spell Nubia?
Poetic, Nubia. Poetic Nubia.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Tom.
Well, if you would like to follow me, I use the hashtag trespasser on Instagram, but you follow me at TressGlenn on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. If you know my name, you can find me.
Could you spell?
TressGlenn.
Wonderful. Thank you, Tress.
Thank you. Bye.
I am on Instagram under Anna_Sambrooks. And yeah, that would be the best. That would be the best place to reach me.
Can you spell your last name?
Yeah, SAMBROOKS.
Perfect.
Cool.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Well, you can reach me at my email, fulfillyourpurpose10x@gmail.com. You can find me at Facebook at Fulfill Your Purpose and at on Instagram at Raisa Kiwala.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. My pleasure.
All social media, it's Ione Butler, IONE Butler. And then I have a Facebook page of uplifting content called Uplifting Content because the world needs more of it. So yeah, Ione Butler and uplifting content.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Greetings, Tom Merle here again. I hope you enjoyed these two episodes of Courage Talks, where I pulled these amazing people aside and really we got to hear what is courage. I hope it brought some value to your life, helped broaden what you thought courage is, and I hope you were able to identify ways that you are living courageous in your life. If you had some aha or epiphany moments, I'd love to hear them. You can either message me or post or tag me. All of my social media, Instagram, all of that kind of stuff is at Tom Earl Artist. You can send me an email, tom@tomearl.com. If you have my phone number, you can text me. Would love to hear your thoughts. And my friends, throughout 2019, what I plan to do is do some Q&A episodes. So if you have any questions about courage, about anything, if you'd like to submit them, any questions for me about my life, about business development, personal development, anything like that, just go to tomearl.com/ask, ASK, and I'd love to answer your 1, your 2, your 3, your multiple questions. I want to thank once again the amazing people who are part of this project and all of my guests throughout 2018. We are almost done with 2018 and the year of courage. I believe we have 2 episodes left. I'm super excited to bring those your way. Stay tuned. I already have in my mind what I believe 2019 is going to be my year of. You'll get to catch that one on the first episode of 2019. Last thing I want to share is if you are looking to make 2019 your strongest year yet, especially in the world of business, if you have a side hustle, a creative project, if you're a musician, if you're a poet, if you're an actor, actress, if you have a business that you want to take to the highest level while connecting with an audience, scaling your message, and generating a sustainable income, I'd love to be your coach and invite you to be a part of our Inner Power group coaching business development community. You can do that by heading to tomearl.com/coach. If you join before the end of 2018, you'll get 50% off your first month. Would love to have you be a part of us. My friends, I appreciate you listening to both parts of Courage Talks. I really appreciate it, and I look forward to coming back together next week. As always, I'm wishing you peace and blessings. Thank you. One more thing. I'd love to continue the conversation. Feel free to join me at tomearl.com/join. Subscribe below, or let's connect on social media. Tom Earl Artist. Thanks again for watching.